Hey guys, welcome back to another video. We're going to start this off with our friend. Say hello, James.
Hey.
This is our friend. Today he played Exodia. This deck always has different, everyone tries to find the Exodia win con. Everyone loves the Exodia win con. And our friend here has his own way of getting to it. And that was going to be a secret within that deck. But, let's see. Are you ready to start out, James?
Yeah, let's go.
Alright, we'll start out with the win con of the deck.
Of course, it's Exodia. So, I mean, if you don't know what this card does, you've been living in under a rock. If you get all 5 of these in your hand, you win the game. Simple. It's the oldest alternate win con. It's one of the most famous. And people have been trying to figure out how to get it right.
The best way to get to it, the most consistent way. And our friend here thinks that he has the best way to do it.
Yeah. Instead of using an engine to get Exodia, you use Exodia as the engine. So right here, I've got 3 Summoner Monks. This allows you to discard a card, special summon a level 4, exactly a level 4 from your deck. It's a great way to search the biggest part of this deck, which I'm just about to show you. Plus, if you brick and you don't get a good spell to discard, it could always be a decent wall, 1600. It's not the worst in the world. The big part of this engine, Treasure Panda. So what this card does is you can banish up to 3 spell or traps from your graveyard, special summon a normal monster from the deck whose level equals the number you banished. They do have to be banished face down, so there's not a lot of plays you can make with that, but it's what you can get off of him. I use him to get the limbs, and I use the limbs themselves as my engine. People try and search Exodia from the deck. I get him from the graveyard. I'll show you how I do that here in just a second. So next up, going into the spells, that's all the monsters you want to run. Going into the spells, we have 3 White Elephant's Gift. This allows you to sacrifice a non-effect monster to draw 2 cards. It's simple, it's easy, and it's honestly a really good card for this deck. Another one, kind of just like it, is Wonder Wand. This you equip to a spellcaster type, and it gains an extra 500. And if you control that spellcaster type, you can sacrifice both it and the Wonder Wand to draw 2 cards. This can affect the pieces, this can affect the head if you're in a really sticky situation, and it can affect your Summoner Monk. So next up, we've got 3 Golden Bamboo Swords. When I first built this deck, I didn't run a Bamboo Sword engine, but after Soul Charge got banned and after Into the Void got limited, I definitely had to do some rearranging. This is a simple card, if you control another Bamboo Sword card, you draw 2. I mean, it's a situational Pot of Greed. There's not a lot better. So, that's always fun. Next, you've got how you get the pieces to the hand. 3 Dark Factory of Mass Production. Each of these allow you to add 2 normal monsters from your graveyard to your hand. The point of this deck is for you to basically draw through your deck until you get the head in hand and your 4 limbs in the graveyard. You activate 2 of these, you win. As long as no DD Crow stuff happens. That's always fun. Toon Table of Contents. This allows you to search a toon or a manga reran and add it to your hand. I've seen some people that go for Blue Eyes Toon Dragon for this, but for some reason he loves me a little too much and always ends up in my hand before I get one of these. So that plus trade-in isn't that useful. So personally, I go into Toon World, so it's discard fodder for Summoner Monk. Next we go into the 2 ofs. You got 2 Magical Mallets. Sometimes you brick. This will allow you to add some cards that you don't want back into your deck. Shuffle it up. Draw that many. It's great for if for some reason after all your combos you still don't have your win con, or like I said, if you brick, you can just hopefully get a better hand. And it's only a few cards, so it's better than reload. Don't listen to people that say otherwise. Next you have 2 Tri-Whites. These allow you to special summon exactly 3 level 2 or lower normal monsters from your graveyard. This can get around Winda, as you can special summon 3 at once. Winda says you can special summon once, not 1 monster. Don't let people fool you. This is great for link plays, as you will see once we get into the extra deck. So next up, part of that bamboo sword engine I was talking about, you have 2 cursed bamboo swords. These are equipped spells, so they work with the golden bamboo swords. And once they're sent to the graveyard, like with Summoner Monk, or if the equipped monster is linked off or something, you can always add a bamboo sword card from deck to hand. It's a great searcher that lets you search your draws, or what helps you draw if you want to search the other one, or a card that you'll see here soon. Next, 2 Dark Eruptions. It's a simple card. You target 1 dark monster with 1500 or less attack in your graveyard. Add it to your hand. Every monster except for Panda is in this deck is a target for that. All of the Exodia pieces, including the head, Summoner Monk, if you need him, like if you don't have a Panda in hand and you need to get a Panda on field. Always a great card for that. Now we're in the one-offs. Broken Bamboo Sword. This is what I was talking about with Cursed. It's a simple card. The equipped monster gains 0 attack. I mean, you just use it to use golden. That's literally all it is. 1 Spellbook of Knowledge. You can sacrifice or discard a spellcaster type monster or another spellbook card to draw 2. It's a hard once per turn. That's why you only use 1. This is supposed to be an FDK deck if you play it right. So you only run 1. You can discard a Summoner Monk. You can discard a limb in your hand if you want to get that back, or you can go into some extra deck plays with it. 1 Into the Void. Like I said, I used to run this at 3 because it basically lets you have a 37 card deck. Unfortunately, Thunder Dragons ruined that for me. So yeah, run 1 Into the Void. You just draw a card, and then at the end of your you can only activate that effect if you have 3 more cards in your hand, and then at the end of your turn you discard your entire hand. So it's one of those win there or don't. Toon World. Like I said, contents, world. It's a great combo. You know, it thins out your deck, which Exodia decks want. Any deck that wants to consistently get something you want. Contents, world. That's my favorite one. Next, Instant Fusion. You can pay 1,000 life, special summon 1 level 5 or lower monster, fusion monster from your extra deck. Can't attack and is destroyed during the end phase. You'll see what monster I use as a target for this. It's not Thousand Eyes before you guess. So try and guess in the comments. See what it is. And lastly, we have 1 Day of Peace. Both players draw 1 card, and neither player takes battle or any kind of damage until the end of your opponent's next turn. It's great if you bricked and you need to stall, or you draw a card. This has been used against me once as I played it and then my opponent proceeded to draw Ash. So that's always fun. But yeah, that's the main deck there. 40 cards, obviously. You don't want Exodia to go any higher. So now we're going into the extra deck. This is only 14 cards. I do plan to add a 15th, which is going to be a copy of this card, number 60. If you play this right, your opponent is not getting another turn. So you can Xyz with Summoner Monk and Panda, since they're both level 4. Go into this, activate its effect, detach 2, draw 2, discard 1. You might be able to discard a limb that you bricked in your hand, because honestly, this deck, the more Exodia you see in your hand, unless it is the head, the bigger brick you've got. Unless you see all 5, then you win. But that's very low chances. But yeah, you use him, discard, draw 2, discard 1. Next, my instant fusion target. I'll praise the Musician King. There are very little spellcaster level 5 or lower fusion monsters that can be special summoned from the extra deck. He's the cheapest one. This is a budget deck. Excluding the fact that those were lost arts, this deck can stay under $100. But yeah, he's a level 5 spellcaster that can be special summoned from the extra deck with instant fusion. You sack him off. He's non-effect, which means he is a white elephant gift target. Next, we're going into the links. 3 Link Spiders. You could use Link Karibo. That's also a good one. But Link Spider, I use him specifically because, like I said, I don't want the limbs in my hand until I've got the head. So you could sack a limb, special this, and then special a limb from your hand for some more link plays, some more sack fodder. Yeah. Next, as the Link 2, we've got 3 Reprodoctus. This can mess up some plays, but that's not really what you have to worry about. The Link 2 and the Link 3 slot are purely for just getting your pieces off of the board. As long as they are generic Link 2s and generic Link 3s. So I just chose Reprodoctus because I had a set. And I like dinos, but I'm not a dino player. So, no ulti. Next, as the Link 3s, I've got 2 Unicorn. Personally, I've had some experiences where I've had to go beat down. I'm just using Unicorn as a placeholder right now. I do plan on getting the BLS, but either way, it's a Link 3. It's useful, you know, discard a card, bounce an opponent's monster, and for some reason, if you're playing a lot of Links, get some extra draws. I mean, that's always useful in Exodia. So yeah, 2 Unicorn. Then is the other one, just for fun, Rusty, because Exodia limbs can go into Rusty, and that's hilarious. So, yeah, Rusty, Link 3. And then is the Link 4, the other useful Link that you want to use, Saryuja Skull Dread. If you play this right, it'll always be like Saryuja, and then after you activated Tri-White, you got 3 pieces, or the panda that you use to get those pieces in the grave. But this card is great because it does give an attack boost if you use 2 or more monsters with different materials. If you do need to go aggro, you know, if they, like I said, DD Crow called by one of the pieces. If you get 3 or more monsters, you can special summon 1 from your hand. This actually saved me tonight because my opponent had a secret village, so I linked into Saryuja and then special summoned a Summoner Monk from my hand, which allowed me to use spells again. Plus, you could also go into more Link climbs. Well, not really Link climbs, more relinks into Saryuja. And then, of course, we've got the big Saryuja effect. If you use 4 monsters with different names, you get to draw 4 and then put 3 on the bottom of your deck. This is great for thinning out your deck. I mean, yeah, you only go +1, plus you lost monsters in the process, so it's up to you if that's a plus. But you thin through your deck. You basically drew 4 cards, and then 3 cards you don't need, you put on the bottom. So unless you search with Panda because you got Saryuja really early, those are more than likely going to stay on the bottom. So now we're going to go into the sideboard a little bit. In the sideboard, for main deck, play 3 Skullmeisters because these are the new called buys. This deck loses to Ash. This deck loses to Droll. Skullmeister's always a great counter for that. You can discard it, and it's a hand trap negate. It's a hand trap called by. Great card, and honestly, not that bad of a beat stick at 1700. Plus, it's a level 4, so you could always go into the number 60. Next, we have 3 Burial from a Different Dimensions. This is so, if it does get banished with DD or called by, you could just bring it back. I've had some bad experiences with that, and I really don't want that to happen again. So yeah, you just target 3 cards that are banished. It can even be your opponents if you want to mess up some VW plays, and return them to the graveyard. And then lastly, in the side deck for the main deck, called by. Like I said, this deck loses to Ash. This deck loses to Droll and Locke. You don't want that to happen, and if you can, you prevent it. Next, we do have some side deck for the extra deck if, for some reason, you just want to play aggro. So, number 54, Lionheart. These little side options for extra deck is if you want to go aggro Exodia for some reason. Some great Link 1s for bring out the Exodia pieces, 3 Exodia pieces going to Lionheart. What he does is, if he's in face-up attack position, he can't be destroyed by battle. His effect's a little weird, so some people are confused on it, but basically what it does is, any battle damage you take, your opponent takes as effect damage. Or you can detach 1 material, and only your opponent takes that damage, instead of you 2 sharing it. Ties cannot happen with this card. I wish they could. That would be hilarious. But we're going to leave that for Relinquished. But yeah, 2 Lionhearts. Next, we've got one of if not my favorite extra deck, or just XZs in general, definitely my favorite XZs. Lyrilusk, Assembled Nightingale. I ran this card in one of my other decks, the Karibo Time Lords. If you watch the first video, his Dalton's Drytron profile, which by the way, if you haven't, go watch it. I don't know why you haven't. He said he lost Time Lord to Karibos. That was me. So
That was me.
so Lyrilusk, Assembled Nightingale. It takes 2 or more level 1s. It gains 200 attack for every material it has. It can attack directly, and it can attack up to the number of times of materials. So with the 4 Exodia pieces, this will have 800 attack 4 times directly. That's 32 in the face. And it does have protection too, because once returning on the player's turn, you can detach 1 material. Your Lyrilusks cannot be destroyed by battle or card effect that turn, and you don't take any damage. So it's great. It's a great wall. It can be for some reason, it's a good 800 beat stick. And honestly, I just love this card. And then if you want to have a fun little play, we got Zeus. Zeus is a very popular card right now, and understandably why. You can summon this card if an Xyz monster battled this turn. You can summon it on top of that. And you can detach 2 for quick effect to remove everything else from the field. It's always a fun little thing. What you could do, little combo right here, get a 2-mat Lyrilusk, attack directly for 800, go into Zeus, nuke the rest of the field. It's a great going second play. I love it personally.
Alright guys, that's it for this video. We would like to mention we do play at our locals, and we do play at our local comic book shop. Always support your local comic book shop, and if you're in the Poplar Bluff area, you can check out Ken's Comic Book Man. Here's all of his information right here. This is where we personally get all of our sleeves. This is where this is where Scrub League comes and meets. This is where Scrub League meant together. This is where we all hang out and do our own thing. And thank you all very much. You guys have a good one. Peace out. Say bye, James.
Bye.